Have you ever felt that no matter how hard you work, the results never seem to match the effort you put in? Maybe you are the first to arrive and the last to leave. Maybe you carry more weight than anyone around you, and still, somehow, you fall behind. This is a story about a farmer who almost destroyed himself trying to work harder, until one quiet afternoon taught him the difference between effort and strategy. Many of us have felt this. This story reflects something universal, even if the people in it are not real. In a farming valley where families had worked the land for generations, there lived a farmer named Elias. He was 32 years old and he had inherited 10 acres of land from his father. Elias believed in only one thing: hard work. Every morning, before the sun touched the hills, Elias was already awake. He refused modern tools. "My father did it this way," he would say, "and hard work is the only honest way." He planted every seed by hand. He carried water in buckets, row after row. He pulled every weed himself, from sunrise until the light was gone. His hands became calloused and cracked. His back ached without rest, but he wore his exhaustion like a badge of honor. At night, he would collapse into bed, too tired to eat, too tired to speak with his wife, Clara. She would watch him with worried eyes. "Elias, you are killing yourself. There has to be another way." But he would only shake his head. "Clara, success requires sacrifice. Hard work never fails. I only need to work harder." The other farmers in the valley watched him with a strange mixture of admiration and pity. "That man works like 3 men," they would say. If hard work alone could make someone rich, Elias would already be wealthy. But the truth was quieter and darker. Despite working twice as many hours as anyone else, his harvests were only ever enough to survive. Every season brought him closer to debt, not further from it. Not far from his land lived another farmer, named Anton. Anton was the same age. He had started with even less than Elias, but he worked only 6 hours a day, from morning until early afternoon. He used modern irrigation. He hired help during the harvest. He spent his evenings resting, reading, and traveling with his family. And somehow, his land produced twice as much. This fact followed Elias like a shadow every night before he slept. Then one summer, the drought came. Water grew scarce across the whole valley. Every farmer faced the same struggle. Elias decided to work even harder. He woke an hour earlier. He carried water from a distant well, making trip after trip 40 times a day, his body screaming in protest. "Hard work never fails," he whispered to himself, again and again, like a prayer. Anton, meanwhile, simply adjusted his irrigation to run in the cooler hours when less water was lost to the heat. On the 15th day, something inside Elias gave way. He was carrying yet another bucket when his vision blurred. His legs folded beneath him, and the water spilled uselessly into the dust. Clara found him on his knees between the dying rows, unable to stand. The doctor's words were simple and cold. "Your body is shutting down. You are dehydrated, sleep-deprived, and close to heart failure. If you continue this way, you may not see the next harvest." That night, lying with fluids dripping slowly into his arm, Elias stared at the ceiling and felt something he had never allowed himself to feel before. Defeat. Not defeat from the drought, defeat from the quiet, terrible thought that everything he believed might be wrong. "I did everything right," he whispered to Clara. "I worked harder than anyone. I gave up everything. Why am I still failing?" Clara held his hand gently. "Maybe, my love, hard work isn't the answer. Maybe there is something you haven't learned yet." That sentence stayed with him through the night. 3 days later, once he was strong enough to walk, Elias did something he had been too proud to do for years. He walked to Anton's door and knocked. Anton opened it, surprised and warm. "Elias, I heard what happened. Come in." They sat together on Anton's porch, looking out over fields that were greener, fuller, more alive than anything Elias had grown in years. "Anton," he said quietly, his pride finally set aside, "I work twice your hours. I give everything I have. But you work half the time, and you produce double." "How?" Anton was quiet for a moment. Then he stood. "Come." Let me show you something. He led Elias to his tool shed and picked up 2 axes. One was old and dull, one was sharp and gleaming. Imagine 2 men cutting wood, Anton said. The first swings for 12 hours without stopping. He believes more effort always means more wood. He handed Elias the dull axe and pointed to a thick log. Try it. Elias swung. The blade bounced off, barely marking the wood. He swung again and again. After 10 strikes, he was breathless, and the log was barely scratched. Anton took the sharp axe and swung once. It bit deep. 3 more strikes, and the log split cleanly in 2. The second man works only 10 hours, Anton said. But every hour, he stops for 10 minutes to sharpen his axe. His rival mocks him. Stop wasting time. Keep swinging. But by evening, the second man has cut twice as many trees. You are the first man, my friend, Anton said gently. You have been swinging a dull axe for years, wondering why your hands bleed while the tree refuses to fall. He walked Elias through his farm and explained 3 things. First, systems over effort. I don't carry water by hand. I built a system that delivers it straight to the roots with almost nothing wasted. It cost money at first. Now it works while I sleep. Second, focus over hustle. I grow only 2 crops, the ones suited to this soil. You grow 5, and your attention is spread too thin to master any of them. Third, rest is part of the strategy, not the enemy of it. I sleep well. I have energy. My mind is clear enough to notice problems early and solve them before they grow. Elias, Anton said, placing a hand on his shoulder, you are not failing because you don't work hard enough. You are failing because hard work is the only thing you know. There is a difference between motion and progress, between being busy and being effective. That evening, Elias walked home with a mind full of questions, and for the first time in years, something that felt like hope. He didn't rush to the fields the next morning. Instead, he sat with Clara and a notebook. Teach me to think differently, he said. Over the following weeks, Elias worked only 4 hours each morning, then stopped. He used the rest of his time to study irrigation, to visit suppliers, to plan instead of simply react. He sold an old tool he never used and bought a basic irrigation system. It took 3 days to install. Once it was running, his daily water work fell from 6 hours to 20 minutes. He reduced his crops from 5 down to 2, choosing only the ones that thrived best in his soil. Instead of being mediocre at many things, he slowly became excellent at a few. He hired a young neighbor to help during the busiest weeks and paid him fairly. But the deepest change wasn't in the fields. It was at home. For the first time in years, Elias had dinner with Clara. They talked. They laughed. He had energy left over for his children in the evenings. He began walking at sunrise, not to work, but simply to think. His friends noticed, Elias, you're working less, but you look healthier, happier. I'm working smarter, he would say, smiling. It turns out you cannot think clearly when you are exhausted. 6 months later, the next harvest arrived. His fields, properly irrigated and carefully managed, produced 40% more than his best year ever had. Not because he worked harder, because every hour of work finally had purpose behind it. He worked 7 hours a day now, instead of 15, and those 7 hours produced more than the 15 ever did. One evening, Anton came to walk through Elias's transformed land. He nodded slowly, with quiet approval. You learned the lesson, my friend. You are not just a hard worker anymore. You are a smart one. Elias took his hand. Thank you for showing me there is more than one way to build something worth having. This is a fictional story, created to explore something many of us quietly carry, the belief that suffering is proof of effort, and that if we are not exhausted, we are not trying hard enough. But hard work on its own is not enough. It never was. Before working harder, ask if there is a smarter system waiting to be built. Focus beats hustle. Mastering a few things always outweighs struggling with many. And rest is not the opposite of progress. It is part of it. A tired mind makes expensive mistakes. A rested mind finds the way forward. You are not a machine, built only to run until you break. You are capable of something better than exhaustion. It might be time to stop swinging the dull axe.